Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be looking at the tailgate on the Mira, but before that we've got to look at a rather moody spoiler. So here is the rear spoiler that was fitted on the tailgate of the Mira. I mean, it is complete. There's no worries about that. There is some damage down here as well. There's quite a big split here in that rear corner. But the problem is actually on the inside. So the inside of the spoiler is not in great shape. There's these strengthening panels that go behind the spoiler here, and they actually have studs going through which secure that to the tailgate. But unfortunately, in areas like this bit here, the clips that hold it on are just, wow, these areas are rotted away. But the biggest problem I've got is actually these studs here, which I've managed to snap. So I'm gonna have to do something with this. So I do have a plan. I'm not sure if this is actually going to work or not, but I'm going to try and gingerly remove these clips and try and remove this metal section here and see if we can actually drill out and remove these studs and replace them with some M6 pan-headed bolts. So I did manage to remove this section of steel so I can replace these studs. One thing I will say though, the actual clips here are one-way clips. They've got little teeth on there, but they're actually pointing in one way. So when you put them in there, they grip. They're not designed to come back off. But where I put the picky tool on the back there, I was able to lever the back teeth up and then just give it a wiggle with a screwdriver and they came off. So that's a result. So here's the plan. We're going to try and drill out these studs here and simply replace them with these fellas here. So that actually turned out to be quite a successful fix. I managed to drill out the holes where the studs were and run a tap down them and actually just screw the new screws into place. So unfortunately, it seems that my makeshift workbench is reaching its limitations, and luckily for me, my amazing wife has managed to go to Astro Products and sort out a home delivery on a new workbench. So I'm super chuffed, super grateful. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, one workbench. Super happy with that. You guys may have noticed that I did take a part off and switch it to the front. It's only because I wanted the badge on the front face. So although I want to replace this section here so it clips into the spoiler a bit better, I'm actually more concerned about stopping this rust. I'm going to put a chassis paint on it. But what's happening is the water's dripping inside the spoiler, and this rusty water is dripping down the back of the tailgate, and that's what I want to stop more than anything. So this is what I'm talking about. You can see here where the spoiler is bolted onto the vehicle. You can see there's rusty water stains. I mean, this is going to creep past the spoiler and it's going to drip down the brand new paint. So that's why, to me, it's more important to get that rust issue sorted. So unfortunately, I don't have any thin steel to repair this section. But what I do have is the old wing off the Mira. So there we go, that's that section there cut out, and a replacement section courtesy of the Mira wing put into position. I've also added a slot there for the clip, and I think it'll be okay once it's had some chassis paint on there. So I've just done the repair on the other side on this strengthening panel here, and weirdly enough it's rusted out in exactly the same place on the other side. So what I'm going to do is, I know that that method of repair works. I'm going to just repeat it on this side. I'll take this section out, we'll cut this area out, and we'll repair it and go from there. Bing! Ping! So with that good coat of metal paint on there, it should slow the rust down a little bit. I do realise that these aren't perfect and they should really be replaced, but at the end of the day, they're only there to strengthen the spoiler, and providing I've got rid of those big nasty holes in there, which I have done, they should last a little bit longer surely. So the next thing I need to tackle is this big split in the corner of the spoiler. I mean, luckily for me, I've taken that reinforcing panel out, so I can actually get to the back of this for the repair. So in this situation, normally you can go out and buy yourself a plastic welding kit. I mean, you could also bond it as well, but I think plastic welding's the way to go on this. But unfortunately, I don't have a plastic welding tool. But what I do have is a soldering iron. And I can also use a bit of plastic from the busted headlight. So here's the plan. I'm going to line this crack up the best I can, and then what I'll do is I'm just going to use the soldering iron and I'm going to melt or fuse the plastic back together, front and back, and if I need to add any material I can use bits of plastic off the old headlight. Ping! So I've just plastic welded this area where those cracks were, and I've just sanded it back. It will need a little bit of fettling with some body filler, but other than that, looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to refit those reinforcing panels. So that's these strengthening parts riveted and clipped back into position. I am actually hoping that this black paint will stop it rusting and bleeding down the back of the panel. Still a couple of areas like these in the corner, and what I'll probably do is I'll just put the black paint on there before this gets refitted. So next up, I'm just going to have a look at this rear tailgate. What I'm going to do is just remove the old decals there, and then we'll DA sand back the panel, hopefully to expose some of these dents that I can feel. We'll probably end up guide coating it and exposing these a little bit better. Feels like there's a crease there in the panel and maybe something going on here, but let's DA it first. So just trial fitted that spoiler just to make sure that those studs that I've replaced are still aligning with the original holes, and it's not so bad. It's a little bit tight. Maybe I need to move that plate a little bit. And also I've just put some body filler over those dents, and it's looking pretty good actually. It's maybe a little bit more work needed, but pretty happy with that so far. So I'm going to leave it there for today on the Mira, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!